I'm Dr. Travis Gene Edwards, board certified in family and sports medicine. In this DVD, I will be putting 11 years into 13 minutes. On August 22nd, 1997, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, the fiscal intermediary for Medicare, placed me on a 100% prepayment review. This review turned into the denial of 96% of my claims on the sickest and poorest patients, the elderly. I was in private practice, and 90% of my patients were elderly. I provided free transportation for the patients, and I made home visits on patients who could not come into the office. This review, in reality, an investigation, was being disguised as uncovering Medicare fraud. Blue Cross flagged and profiled my Medicare provider number in their computer so that the claims were automatically denied as non-covered services and not reasonable and medically necessary. Conditions like breast cancer, stasis ulcer, diabetes, hypertensive urgencies were denied as non-covered services. When these patients were referred to other doctors, those doctors were paid. We did everything we could to stop them from closing the practice, but they were determined by any means necessary to shut me down. We wrote letters to congressmen and congresswomen. We met with Blue Cross and Blue Shield medical review team and their medical director for directions to no avail. They would not give us any solutions or corrective plan of action. They alleged that we were not submitting proper documentation, and this was the reason for the high denial rate. On February 28, 2001, Blue Cross and Blue Shield mission was accomplished. My practice closed. Would this be a valid question? Why didn't Blue Cross and Blue Shield recommend that I be removed from the Medicare program or revoke my Medicare number for filing false claims? I have survived a FBI, an OIG, 2 Texas State Board of Medical Examiners investigation, a 6-year administrative process, and a bogus 100% prepayment review. No indictments, no arrests have been made. Matter of fact, not one of the claims has been found to be a non-covered service or not reasonable or medically necessary. After the completion of the administrative process, in June 2003, I filed a suit against Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas for fraud, criminal conduct, and negligence. Blue Cross and Blue Shield responded by filing several summary judgments in federal and district court, delaying the jury trial. Plus, they made major strategic campaign contributions to the presiding judges over the courts who were hearing the summary judgments. Blue Cross and Blue Shield legal counsel made a $5,000 contribution on February 26, 2007, the same day of the summary judgment. The trial was set for March 12, 2007. They made a $3,000 contribution on August 8, 2006, 10 days before the summary judgment. The trial was set for September 18, 2006. They made a $1,250 contribution on September 23, 2006, 5 days after the summary judgment. The trial was set for September 18, 2006. All 3 trial dates have been canceled. Blue Cross and Blue Shield has produced no evidence in this case. This is bribery, this is extortion, and I believe it is obstruction of justice. How coincidental is it that both judges canceled the jury trial because they needed more clarification on the statute of limitation and preemption issues? The lack of familiarity with the case both judges needed. One judge has granted Blue Cross and Blue Shield 2 summary judgments without any evidence from Blue Cross. We have filed an appeal on September 24, 2007 for a hearing in the appeal appellate court. Thank you. Let's look at a 73-year-old black female with a right breast mass that turned out to be cancer. Blue Cross and Blue Shield denied it as non-covered service and not reasonable and medically necessary. This is the right breast mass on this lady. And this is just another view of the same breast ruptured there. Here are the progress notes on August 28, 1997. You will see a sketch of the right breast with a 11 o'clock mass to the left. You will see that this is the explanation of benefits on 8/28. Blue Cross and Blue Shield returned it. You will see the code there, CO50 for this patient. This was the breast mass patient. And you'll see what CO50 means. CO50 means that these are not covered services because this is not deemed medically necessary by the payer. We appealed the decision on December 2nd, 1997, and on December 30th, 1997, Blue Cross and Blue Shield sent us an explanation that the medical documentation was not received to support the need for these services. In this same letter, they said that we also find that the services are not medically necessary under 1862A1. We also find that you did not notify the beneficiary in writing before these services, meaning the breast cancer, were furnished, that Medicare likely would not pay for the services. Because of this, you are held liable for the full charges for the services. We also reviewed the claim with regard to issue of whether the services were not reasonable and necessary. We find that the prior decision was correct. The services were not reasonable and necessary. We sent the patient to Dr. Columbus Floyd, general surgeon and disease of the breast. Dr. Floyd referred the patient to Dr. Solansky, an oncologist, and he said, "Thank you for referring this patient for surgical evaluation of a fungating right breast cancer. Ms. Hill underwent a right simple mastectomy on June 8th. Medicare denied my services as non-medically necessary and not covered. They paid the hospital, they paid the pathologist, the surgeon, the oncologist, the radiographic imaging center, and they also paid the anesthesiologist.